Okay, good morning, everyone. Morning. Yes.
Morning.
The last class we had discussed about different rules for the filling of electrons into different orbitals, right? Yes. So which are the three rules that helps us to filling electrons in different orbitals? Navneet, can you tell me the first rule? Navneet? Navneet, can you hear me? No. Okay, Devika, can you tell me the first rule?
Off-bow principle, ma'am.
Yeah, off-bow principle. Then Malavika, what about the second one?
Police exclusion principle.
Yeah, Pauli's exclusion principle. Then Sarah, what about the third one?
And
Third one?
rest I forgot.
Hans.
Hans rule of maximum multiply.
Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. These are the three rules that helps for filling of electrons into different orbitals. John Philip, what is this Pauli's exclusion principle? Yes.
Ma'am, no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers.
Okay, okay. Then Elaine, what about off-bow principle?
Pairing of electron in the orbital belong to the same subshell does not take place until each orbital belong to the subshell has got one electron. It is slightly occupied.
That is Hund's rule, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking about off-bow principle. Off-bow principle. Okay, I will ask you another. Alentina, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. In the
Yeah.
ground state of atom, the orbitals are in the order of increasing.
Once again.
In the ground state of atoms, the orbitals are in the order of increasing energy.
Okay. Then what about the increasing order of different subshells? Pooja, can you tell me? Starting from 1s.
1s, 2s, 2p,
Hmm.
3s,
Hmm.
4s,
Yeah.
3d, 4p, 5s.
3D, then 4s, right? 4s.
3d, 4s,
Yeah.
4p.
Yes. Okay. Why there is difference between this order in the case of 3D and 4s? It is based on two rules, right? Then how can we determine the energy of this subshells, children? Which equation is used to calculate the energy? Devi Krishna?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
Which rule is used or which equation is used to find out the energy of different subshells? There is one equation there, right?
Notes.
No. Shabari, can you tell me which equation is used?
N plus L.
Very good. N plus L. Okay. The sum of principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number. By looking into this value, we are calculating the energy of different subshells. Okay. And if there is same energy there, the lowest N value will be considered as lowest energy. Then there are two types of configurations or two methods to write the configuration of different electrons in orbitals. So can you tell me which are the two methods used? John Joes?
Orbital configuration.
Yeah. Then one more?
Then S raised to A, P raised to B, D raised to C.
Notation. Yes. SPDF notation, right? I think we already write the electronic configuration of few elements, right? Then we can write more examples. Yes, nitrogen. What's the atomic number of nitrogen?
10.
Yeah?
7.
7. Okay, so how can we write the electronic configuration in SPDF notation? Nimida, can you tell me? Nimida? Nimida, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Yes, tell me. How can we write the SPDF notation of this nitrogen atom?
Nitrogen atom.
Starting from 1s. So,
Seven is
the atomic number. So, you can distribute this 7 electrons into different orbitals starting from 1s. How many electrons are there in 1s?
one,
Hmm.
2,
This one stands for N. That means the main shell. And this one is the subshell. That is L. Then here you write the number of electrons in each subshell. Okay. Each orbital. So it is 1s. What's the maximum capacity of S?
2,
2. So you can write 1s2. Then what about the next one? 2s. So it is 2s.
2,
2s2. So already 4 electrons are filled. The next one is 2p. So how many electrons there in 2p? Already 4 electrons are filled. So
3,
yes, 2p3. Now you count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, that is 4. 4 plus 3, 7. So there are 7 electrons in nitrogen atom. You can distribute it into different subshells by this method. And you can also write the orbital diagram method. This orbital for 1s. This is for 2s. And this is for 2p because there are 3 orbitals in 2p. And each orbital can accommodate maximum 2 electrons. So here there are 2 electrons. They are in opposite spin. Here also 2 electrons. Then here only 3 electrons. So according to Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, after the singly occupation of this electrons into different orbitals, you can add the next one. So it will be distributed like this. Electrons are singly occupied in each orbital. Clear? So this is the SPDF notation and this one is the orbital diagram of nitrogen atom. Then we are moving to oxygen. Oxygen. Tushar, can you tell me the SPDF notation of oxygen?
1s2,
Very good.
2s2,
2s2, 2p,
2p3,
2p3. The maximum capacity of p shell is 6. 6 electrons.
okay ma'am.
So,
2p4,
yes, very good. 2p4. So now we can draw the orbital diagram. 1s, 2 electrons, 2s, 2 electrons. The next one is 2p. 2p. So we can singly occupy the electrons first in each orbital. Then you can draw the next one. Okay, so the maximum capacity of S shell is 2, then P shell is 6, D shell is 10, F shell is 14. Okay?
Ma'am, can you explain how to draw the orbital diagram?
Orbital diagram. Just draw the electrons in opposite spin, that's it. Here 1s, there are 2 electrons, right? In 1s, there are 2 electrons. So one in the upward direction and the other in the downward direction. Okay. Then we draw the orbital diagram of 2s. 2s also contains 2 electrons. One in upward direction, other one in opposite direction. In the case of p, d, f orbitals, after occupying the single electrons in the orbitals, you can put the second one in the same orbital. Clear? That's the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So here there are 4 electrons. We can singly occupy 1 electron in each orbital. After that, you can fill the fourth one in the first orbital itself. Clear?
Why does P have 3 boxes?
3 orbitals. We have learned each S has only 1 orbital. Then P has 3 orbitals. Then how many for D? D?
5.
Yes, 5. And for F, 7 orbital. And each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. That's why S orbital has maximum 2 electrons. Here P orbital has 6 electrons because 3 orbitals are there. So each orbital can accommodate 2. So 3 into 2, 6. Okay. Then in the D, 5 orbitals are there. Each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. Here the sum of electrons is 10. And similarly in the case of F. Clear? Shall I move to another example? Yes. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you say that if 2p3, the box, how it is like arrow up, and the second one is like up, down, and up.
Sarah, your voice is too low. I can't hear you properly.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
if in the first nitrogen, it is
Yeah.
like 2p up, and in oxygen, it is up, down, and
It's
up,
in here we are filling these electrons first, each in each orbital. Okay, like this. Okay. Then in each orbital, 2 electrons must be in opposite spin. So there is one more electron here, 2p4, right? We already filled 3 electrons, then one more electron. It should be represented in opposite spin. That is in downward direction. Clear? Okay? Yes. Any more doubt, children? Nothing, right? Then we can do another example. Sodium, Na. What is the atomic number of sodium? Sodium. 11. We told you all to learn at least first 20 elements and its atomic number, right? You have to learn at least first 20 elements with its atomic number and symbol. Okay. It is needed for all the chapters in chemistry. So sodium, it is 11. So who will tell you who will tell me the electronic configuration? Shabari, can you tell me?
1s2,
1s2,
2s2,
2s2,
2p6,
2p6.
and 3s1.
Yeah?
3s1.
Very good. 3s1. Okay, so we can draw the orbital diagram. Here it is 1s, 2s, 2p, then 3s. Okay, so in 1s there are 2 electrons, 2s there are 2 electrons, 2p there are 6 electrons. So you can draw each. Then 3s1. Okay, 3s1, only 1 electron. All of you switch on your videos. Just 1 minute. Switch on your videos, children. Yes. Renil, you can tell me the electronic configuration of the next one. Okay. So now we are going to write chlorine. Renil, can you hear me? Renil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What about the atomic number of chlorine?
17.
Yeah, very good. 17. So how can we write the electronic configuration? Starting from 1s. So 1s,
1s2,
1s2, 2s,
2,
2, 2p,
6, S6,
yeah,
3s2,
3s2,
3p5,
3p,
5,
very good, 3p5. Now you can again count the number of electrons, okay? 2 plus 2, it's 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, 12 plus 5, 17. Then we can draw the orbital diagram. Here it is. Helena, any doubt? Okay, so 1s, 2 electrons. Next one, 2s, 2 electrons. 2p, 6 electrons. Then 3s, 2 electrons. Next one, 3p. Here there are 5 electrons. So you should singly occupy the electrons. After that, you can complete it. Okay. 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p. Is this clear? Yes. Have you completed? Then the next one, we can do manganese, Mn. What about the atomic number of manganese? Anyone? Manganese?
25.
Very good. It's 25. 25. So we can write the electronic configuration of this manganese. Lakshmi, can you tell me?
1s square,
1s2. Yeah, 1s2.
2s2,
2s2.
2p6,
2p6.
3s2,
3s2.
3p5, 3p6.
Yeah, 3p6 because p has the maximum number of electrons is 6. Yeah, 3p6. Now count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, it's 4. 4 plus 6, 10. 6 plus 2, sorry, 10 plus 2, 12. 12 plus 6, 18. Then after 3p6, then Lakshmi, Lakshmi, are you there? No? Okay, Jewel, can you complete it? 3p6, then
4D,
4d,
4D7,
is it 4d? After 3p6, just look at the increasing order of subshells. 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d. Right? Yes, Jewel. So tell me. After 3p6, then?
DD.
No, 4s.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, 4s. 4s, how many electrons?
4S7.
S has only maximum capacity is 2.
S2.
Yes, S2. Then 3D. How many
3D.
electrons? No,
5.
yeah, very good. 5. Okay. So you have to remember this point after 3P, 4S, then 3D. Okay. After certain practices, you will able to write this configuration. So 1s, there are 2 electrons. 2s, 2 electrons. then 2p 6 electrons, 3s 2 electrons, 3p 6 electrons. Then can I rub this, children? This part? Yes, right? Okay. So after 3p it is 4s. Okay. 2, then 3d. 3d there are 5 orbitals. So each in each orbital. Yes. 3d 5. Manganese it is 25. Have you completed? Yes, okay. Finish, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, then there are 2 exceptions in the configuration of 2 elements. Okay, exceptional configurations. You can write exceptional configurations. This one is very important. Exceptional configurations. And this exceptional configuration, it was shown by 2 elements, chromium and copper. Okay, chromium and copper. Chromium. Its symbol is Cr and its atomic number is 24. 24. Chromium and copper. First one, chromium. So according to the 3 rules of Bohr principle, Pauli's exclusion principle and Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, we can write the electronic configuration, right? Here there are 24 electrons. So we can start from 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, then 3d4. This is the electronic configuration according to rules, right? You can write this configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. All of you switch on your videos. Yes. So this is the electronic configuration of chromium according to rules. But the actual electronic configuration of chromium, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d5. 4s1, 3d5. This is the actual configuration of this chromium. Okay, here it is 3d5. Then again we can write the configuration of copper. Okay, copper, its symbol is Cu. Cu, and its atomic number is 29. 29. So according to rules, we can write the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, then 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d, 9. Okay. But the actual configuration of this copper, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d, 10. This is the actual configuration. So by looking at these two configurations of chromium and copper, can you tell me why these two elements follow a particular configuration? Here, look here, it is 3d5 and 3d10. Do you get any points here about its configuration? Yes. Why here? It is 4s1 and 3d5 or 4s1 and 3d10. This one is half-filled configuration. In the case of d orbital, it is half-filled, right? Because the maximum capacity of d, that is 10. 10 electrons, right? Here it is half-filled. And this case, it is completely filled. Okay? It is completely filled. The case of d orbital, here it is half-filled and here it is completely filled. So this half-filled and completely filled configuration has one extra stability. Clear? This half-filled and completely filled configurations have extra stability. That's why they are following this type of electronic configuration. So that's the reason half-filled and completely filled configurations have extra stability. That's why this chromium and copper, it follows this order. Yes. So there are two reasons for the stability of completely filled and half-filled subshells. Okay. The reason for that particular configuration, it is due to completely filled and half-filled configuration, it has extra stability. And there are two reasons for this extra stability in the case of half-filled and completely filled orbitals. First one is symmetrical distribution of electrons. Okay. Symmetrical distribution of electrons. When you look at the 5 electrons distributed in the d subshell, they are in symmetrical nature, means 1 electron in each orbital, right? And in d10 configuration also, it's in symmetrical nature because 2 electrons are distributed in each orbital. So the completely filled or half-filled subshells have symmetrical distribution of electrons in them and are therefore more stable. So due to this extra stability, they are following a particular type of configuration. So the first reason for the stability, the symmetrical distribution of electrons. Symmetrical distribution of electrons. In half-filled orbital, that means 5 electrons are there. Each electrons are distributed to each orbital. And in the case of completely filled orbitals, there are 10 electrons, 2 electrons in each orbital. So they are symmetrical in nature. And the second reason is exchange energy. Exchange energy. Electrons tend to exchange their positions and the energy released due to this exchange. Okay? Yeah.
Ma'am, what are we discussing? I got disconnected.
Who is that?
Aditya.
Yes, Aditya. Now, did you write the configuration of chromium and copper?
That error, completely filled and half-filled.
Yes. So this completely filled and half-filled configuration, it occurs due to the extra stability there. Okay. Then there are two major reasons for this extra stability. First one is symmetrical distribution of electrons. In the case of d orbital, there are d subshell, there are 5 orbitals there. When you distribute this each electron to each orbital, they are symmetrical in nature, right? One electron in each orbital. And in the case of d10 also, 2 electrons in each orbital. It is also symmetrical in nature. So this stability, extra stability of completely filled and half filled subshells, it is due to the symmetrical distribution of electrons in them and are therefore more stable. That's the first reason. And the second one, exchange energy. That means electrons tend to exchange their positions. Okay, look at this figure here. When they are distributed in half-filled way, they have a tendency to exchange their position. The electron that occupy in the first subshell can replace the position in fourth orbital, like that. So they exchange energy while changing their positions. Electrons tend to exchange their positions and the energy released due to this exchange. The number of exchanges that can take place is maximum when the subshell is either half filled or completely filled. So there is one extra energy there. Okay, if the electrons occupy half filled or completely filled, they have more tendency to exchange their positions and release more energy. So due to these two reasons, this half filled and completely filled configurations have extra stability. This is clear?
Ma'am, can you repeat the second point?
Yes. When these electrons are occupying in half filled or completely filled configuration, they have more chances for exchange their position. That means the first electron can change their position to fourth one, then third position, second position, first position in this figure, right? So while they exchanging their position, they will release more energy. So in the case of this half filled and completely filled configurations, there more exchange take place and more energy is released. So this energy will be gives more stability for the molecule. That's it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Devi Krishna, can you please read?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Stability of completely filled and half-filled subshell. Symmetrical distribution of electrons. The completely filled or half-filled subshell have symmetrical distribution of electrons in them and are therefore more stable. Exchange energy. Electrons tends to exchange their position and the energy released due to this exchange. The number of exchanges that can take place is maximum when the subshell is either half-filled or completely filled.
Okay. Then one more topic to discuss from this chapter. After that topic, we can conclude this chapter. So I will send you the notes in this week itself. In the next week, that means for next Friday, we can conduct one test based on this chapter. Only MCQ questions. Okay, I know that this chapter is very big, but I will give you the notes in a brief form. Okay, and we can conduct one test based on this chapter only in the MCQ format. Have we completed the slide, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then there is one more topic, that is orbital. That we already discussed, but I think we did not write the points related to orbital, right? Orbital. Orbitals represent the three-dimensional motion of the electron around the nucleus. I told you that the maximum probability of finding this electron, it is known as orbital. Now we are able to draw the orbitals, right? Magnetic orbital quantum number, that's based on this orbitals. In the p subshell, there are 3 orbitals. In d subshell, there are 5 orbitals. So we can define this orbital. It represents the three-dimensional motion of the electron around the nucleus. the maximum probability of finding an electron around a nucleus. It is known as orbital. And they are different shapes from each other. They are different shapes from each other. We have learned the shapes of different orbitals, right? In S orbital, it is in spherical shape. Then P, they are in two lobes. That means dumbbell shape. And there are three types of p orbitals. There are 5 types of d orbitals, right? So this orbital, it represents the 3-dimensional motion of the electron around the nucleus. And they are different shapes from each other. It is simply a region of space around a nucleus where the electron is present. It is simply a region of space around a nucleus where the electron is present. And this orbital concept completely complies with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Do you remember that one? We cannot able to simultaneously find the change in position and change in velocity of the change in momentum of the particle, right? So this orbital concept, it completely complies with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. And only 2 electrons can be present in an orbital. I told you in each orbital, the maximum number of electrons is 2. In the case of S orbital, there is only 1 orbital. S subshell, there is only 1 orbital. Then in the case of P, there are 3 orbitals. Then in the case of D, there are 5 orbitals. And in each orbital, the maximum number of electrons is 2. Do you remember the names of the p orbital? Px, then py, pz, etc. Then here it is dxy, then dxz, dxz, dyz, then dx square minus y square, and dz square. These are different orbitals of d subshell. Agna, can you hear me? Agna? Anila? Anila, can you hear me? Eva?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please read the points about orbital?
Yes, ma'am. Orbitals represent the 3-dimensional motion of the electron around the nucleus.
Yeah.
They are different in shapes from each other. It's simply a region of space around a nucleus where the electron is present. And the orbitals concept completely complies with the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Yeah.
And only 2 electrons can be present in an orbital.
Yes, okay. Children, did you see the portions for your term 1 exam? That means from this chapter, which are the deleted portions? I think I told you, right? Yes, okay. So we can start from it's from Bohr's model, right? Yes. Yeah, Bohr's model, then its limitations. Then the remaining topics are there. So I will mention only the portions for the exam in the notebook, notes, okay? And I will just mention it in the beginning itself, the portions from this chapter for the exam.
Photoelectric effect.
Yes, it's after Bohr's model, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will just mention the topics that is included for the exam in your notes. Have you completed the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you? So now this chapter is completed. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. And thank you all. See you in the next class. Okay, bye.